Ken Timmerman joins us. He's the author of The Iran House and a senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute. And Rich Kolko is back with us. He's a U.S. Navy commander pilot and a retired intelligence officer. And Rich, I'd like to start with you because, you know, one of the things that has been developing as the president was not on U.S. soil is that Iran they aren't saying it was Iran. Let's start with that. But someone has very aggressively been targeting cargo ships in the Strait of Hormuz. One was sunk, the other was towed towards Iran. What should the U.S. be doing in this case? Iran is sounding increasingly belligerent.
They certainly are, but as we heard from your reporter, they still have to get some details from what actually happened there. I'm still very dismissive of Iran's naval capabilities to conduct these kind of operations. They certainly have the missiles and drones that they've got in place, and they've probably rebuilt over the last few weeks. And we know many of their missile launchers are back in business. That's a problem for the U.S. But trust our U.S. Navy. They know what they're doing with this blockade. They can control that. They can lock that down like a drum if they want to. There has been some leakage as far as a few ships through or passing by, but the U.S. has turned back, I believe, nearly 70 ships into Iranian ports. And if they want to go toe-to-toe with the U.S., if Iran decides to do that in the strait there, it's going to be bad news for them.
But the president's trying to encourage these ships to come through the strait. Why would we then let whoever it was sink a ship?
They're probably doing, well, we have to see what kind of ship they actually sunk. I'd like to get some details on that. Iran has no full-size naval vessels left. They've got these small boats, the speedboats, that certainly can cause problems. We can go all the way back to this coal and see what a small boat with a bomb did. Right. So it's certainly possible that they could cause damage. The U.S. has the capabilities now much improved since the coal. They're on their toes. They've got the drones in the air. They've got aircraft in the air. They've got naval ships that they're trying to do standoff because they don't want to be too close to the danger there. We don't want to risk a naval ship there to Iran's small boats.
While he was in China, President Trump said he and Xi are on the same page when it comes to nuclear weapons in Iran. Listen.
Iran, we feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. They closed it, and we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy, and it's no good. Can't have it. They cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Ken, obviously this is a very, very key issue, but I also believe it's very likely that the president told the Pentagon, stand down while I'm in Beijing, don't attack or don't take out any Iranian boats. But right now, I believe they're saying, they try anything like that again, you got to wipe them out.
Well, if this turned out to be Iranian attacks, and I'm sure it probably was, they have made a huge miscalculation. The optics of that press conference between President Trump and President Xi was very significant. They were standing there together saying, we are united against Iran. This was huge, bad news for the Iranians. They were watching as their best ally, their best friend, their missile supplier, just went over to the enemy. So I think this was a big, big statement that we saw, and Trump said more about this later on. He said that the Chinese had agreed not to sell weapons to Iran. Why is that important? Because they are the main supplier of sodium perchlorate, which is the oxidizer used in solid missile fuel, and they've been selling a lot of it to the Iranians. Without that, the Iranians can't build more missiles. So if she delivers on that pledge, what we believe is a pledge that he made to President Trump, it's a big deal. The Iranians are on the outs.
Yep.
Yeah, you make a great point there because the president has just called China out for attempting to send weapons to Iran.
So we have to hope that he meant what he said. Ken Timmerman and Rich Kolko.